Hi.
Hi.
I'm Sylvia Gordon. This is my sister Rebecca Gordon. We're talking about the fascinating subject of FEMA. Now, I know you're going to be like, I've been doing this for years. I get it.
Another earthquake.
It's an SEP, blah, blah, blah.
Another wildfire.
Stick with us because, as you know, they like to change the rules.
This is a big deal.
And especially because some of you do paper apps, dirty word. It can be a little bit more confusing to deal with a FEMA disaster. And we have a lot of people that are new.
So get out a piece of paper and a pencil and take some notes. All right.
There's a lot of FEMA disasters basically at all times of the year.
Right.
Google it.
I just don't feel like Indiana gets them. Thank God.
Thank God. But there's floods, wildfires, earthquakes, stuff constantly. So let's just talk about Florida right now with Ian
and Nicole. Massive hurricanes that hit our beloved Fort Myers and Sanibel.
Right.
So
Lee County, Florida, 30% of the population is over 65. So that's lots of people impacted in one area that they're still impacted. That they don't have internet.
And I think it's worth saying, you went down to help neighborhoods and people. So you've seen firsthand folks that have nothing. All of their stuff was out of the road. So take these seniors and think, how in the world are they going to have AEP on their minds?
Right.
They're
sleeping on a lanai on blow-up mattresses. It's craziness. You wouldn't believe it.
And that's a big problem and the thing that we want to bring to your attention. So let's go ahead and pull up the rules.
Number one rule.
Can't
market.
It makes no sense. I almost wish that we could show you what we discussed before we start taping, because this makes absolutely no sense. If 30% of the population will just take in Lake County is over the age of 65, and right now, what are they doing? They're trying to find a mattress. I mean,
it's
there's
terrible.
no furniture stores down there that have stuff.
They don't have their drywall in. They don't have their floors in. It's crazy.
They got to worry about mold. So if you can't market that these folks have this opportunity, this benefit to have an SEP, how in the heck are they going to know?
Because most people are going to see all the TV ads, and they're like, well, I missed the December 7th deadline. You know, I
got bigger fish to fry.
It couldn't be helped, but my doctors aren't in network and blah, blah, blah. So we can't market to them and say, hey, if you missed the December 7th deadline, all you people in this area, Daytona, all the people, you still can make an election if you didn't make one during AEP.
And that's the key. If you did make one right at the start of AEP and then the hurricane hit, you've already used your election period. But if you can't
that means Nicole. The Nicole people.
When did Nicole hit?
It was a late storm. Yeah.
But you have to wait for them to call you, right?
Right.
Your clients have to. They have to think about it and initiate the call.
And you have to say, well, it's past the deadline, but you're in luck. We do have a special exception because of the hurricane. You cannot market, and that's a fine point to remember and pass down to your agents. I think some people think that because during the COVID emergencies that prior authorizations and referrals, some of those hurdles in Medicare Advantage were waived, that they're waived during...
They were waived, to make things easier for folks during COVID, right?
Yeah, they're not waived with the FEMA, with a SEP. So
keep that in mind.
Also, if you're doing a paper app, let's go to the next one. If you're doing a paper app there, they want to know, what was the date of the incident?
Huh.
Which,
Sylvia, when did Ian hit?
Ian hit on September 28th, but...
it could have impacted you at any time afterwards.
Yeah, most people aren't going to remember that, or they don't have internet to look it up. It's like, whatever.
Yeah. It's the fact that they're digging deeper for a specific date.
It's just going to make
irritating.
People crazy. And the SEP is DST, disaster. SEP-DST. Very exciting.
That's awesome.
If you do a telephonic app, it's a little bit easier than the paper apps ask for more information. Because they're like, why couldn't you use your election? So you can just put hurricane. You don't have to.
You could say, my son, who normally helps me with my enrollment, house was just...
that's a good point. That's a good point to remind people. Because let's say I live in Seattle. I wasn't impacted by the hurricane. But my son helps me make all my decisions. I don't understand Medicare. I'm uncomfortable. Right. My son was impacted by the hurricane.
So then that impact flows up to you.
Right. So that's a really important part when you're talking about FEMA disasters, is that you don't have to be in the disaster.
Right. That's a good thing.
You're impacted by the disaster because your family members or friends, they were impacted. Mm-hmm. And you could see a crafty agent going, my client missed AEP. I could fabricate this. I mean, that is probably possible, but again, fraud, not recommended. I just like to put that out there because somebody's going to say, "Hey, what about?" Yeah, don't
disclaimer.
Don't do it.
Fraud not good.
Don't do it. So if you were not impacted by the disaster, I know a lot of agents have been impacted by these recent.
Well, we have agents who still don't have internet down there.
I know. So if you were impacted, our hearts go out to you guys.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to help people in these areas, Godspeed, because it's a lot of work trying to get to these people before the deadline.
Gosh.
And then, we do have OEP on the cusp of this coming in. But that's all I got for this
That's
today.
all I got. They're sure not making it easier, are they?
Happy selling.
Talk to you soon.